We're going to talk about the topic. We're not going to talk about the politicians. Please subscribe. Go on YouTube, Third Side Convo, and then like us. And we will see you again next week on another episode of Third Side Convo. Thank you all. And hang around for the after show.
Is this the after show?
After show is now, guys. On right now is after show.
All right.
Where's Bob?
Okay, Bob's coming on. They'll come on in a minute.
So y'all won't be able to, the ones on the panel won't be able to see the Zoom. They'll be able to see y'all. You'll be able to hear them. So we're going to have them speak most, and then we'll come back to y'all on the after show.
Let all the Zoom people talk. Just let me turn them on real quick.
And Johnny, I know you got to leave, so
Zoom
just.
people, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, Johnny, I got to ask Johnny, are you in favor of abortion now? Because you said some parents shouldn't have kids.
Oh, I knew that.
He gonna get you.
There you go, Johnny. Just want to know if you changed.
Let's go ahead and start off with Ted since he wants to talk. Ted, what do you think?
I don't know what the real problem was. Bob said at the start of the show what the real problem was. What's the real problem? What is the real problem? Is it they have access to bad information? That's a problem? It's only been a problem for the last 3,000 years in terms of energy.
Hey, here's a whole different angle. Suppose you're a kid who just had their home burned down, and I say that because my niece's
Right.
house just burnt down, and you want to check on your friends, and you do it via Facebook, assuming you have any power or reception or anything like that, or a web connection. There's a good use of Facebook, kind of innocuous, no problem, no porn, no nothing like that. I mean,
Well, nobody says it's a
problem
bad
with
thing.
that. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
nobody-
you can do that with other apps, not necessarily social media. I think the aspect of social media is different than connecting with your friends via phone. The topic was about social media itself, but not different types of technology that helps you connect.
No, but the social media would enable you to put out I'm safe to everybody, if you needed to do it that way. To a whole bunch
All right,
of people at once.
You found one of them. All right, who else is out there?
How about Vance Dykes? Vance Dykes is sitting over there. He's got his mic on. Vance, tell us what you think about this subject.
Well, I agree with Dr. Lee and Johnny that basically the government should not be getting in our business as to how we live our lives and how we conduct our everyday activities. And that, yes, parents need to step up. They need to take responsibility for their children. I mean, that's pretty much what parents are supposed to do. Parents are supposed to raise their children to grow up to become mature, responsible adults. And if parents are not going to do their job, then what can you expect?
Just even if you're sitting there, it looks better.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, just go
We've got
sit.
Mr.
Right.
Pierre. Pierre, what are your thoughts?
Look, I think all the problems we have in society, we always put it on the consumer. Prices go up, the consumer pays it. We don't like something, it's always the consumer. So now we're blaming the parents. Really, it's the algorithm. The kids can be on social media, but if that algorithm is tailored to, they don't get none of that, we solve the problem. It doesn't need to be another law that says we can't do anything. Fix the problem, the algorithm.
Well, that's a good
That's
point.
good
I
to
mean,
me.
there's hundreds of millions of kids who use computers around the world every day and do the right thing. You never see material or lead to activities that, are harmful to themselves or others. So it's another overreaction to the 20% of people who aren't doing something right.
Exactly.
Well, this is where I think I would disagree with you on that, Ted, because I think most kids are eventually going to find their way to those sites. It's just natural. How many guys here didn't see a Playboy magazine before they were a certain age? It's.
I've never seen a Playboy magazine. Never.
Yeah, well,
You're probably too young.
Well, you're probably too young, man.
Well, they don't have them anymore.
But no, the point being is that
They don't need them.
It was this sticky box underneath your
yeah,
dad's
because
bed.
there's so much easy porn on the phones. But I think the Florida approach is the right approach. If you're going to do it at the government level, state and local level is the way to go, and get the parents involved. But the key thing where it gives a tool that works. So, for example, as Ted pointed out earlier, somebody could come up with a cheap VPN that kids could access. But at least if the law is crafted correctly to where it requires the parental access, then you can permission, then you have a tool with which you can go after the people who are creating those VPNs and giving access outside of parental permissions.
My rebuttal to Bill, real quick, is the fact that I think there are millions of kids who see the stuff, whatever you want to talk, porn or whatever, dark stuff, and they're not interested in it. They click off, and they don't go back to it. I think millions and millions. That's by far the vast majority of kids say, "I don't need this. Forget it. Get it out of me."
I think majority of kids get a little bit fascinated with it because there's natural curiosity and they get drawn into it. And the people who exploit the kids are the ones who are going, they know that, and that's how they go after them.
Oh, I think you're absolutely true there. There are bad actors. There are state actors, individual actors. I mean, molesters or pedophiles. They exactly do exactly what you're talking about. Yes. But
well, Ted, do you think teenage boys are, when they see bouncy boobies on the screen, are going to turn away and go, "Oh, I don't want to look at that"?
I think they do it after about 12 minutes. They go, "It's the same thing over and over again. It's the same, one breast or, that's breast. Great. Okay. What else is on, what else is on? What else can I do?" It's not having the girl in the room. If the girl's in the room, that's different. If she's on a screen, how far can you go?
Well, you start
Not too far.
Yeah.
I also fail to realize we already have a rule of 13-year-olds. If you're under 13, you can't be on any of those social media anyways. It's 13 years old, capable enough to understand the complexities of social media. I think you should be able to know how to turn off the internet if it bothers you.
Well, that's the other thing. It's back to parental controls. You don't know what's going on. Turn off the modem.
Yeah.
Well,
Donald, what do you think?
Well, the problem is that we have in this country, we have like too many people, or even got role models that we see, like our leaders and our people that's leading our country, our leaders is like that. If they don't show example of how things are supposed to be, trying to get around stuff and trying to do stuff, kids are going to get around it, and they're going to find ways to do it, either get around it or completely ignore the law anyway in the first place. But if our leaders are not showing that, hey, you got to follow the laws, and there's consequences of not following the laws. But if our leaders are trying to circumvent the law, try to get around it, and not taking responsibility, how are we going to teach our kids to do this? And these are leaders that we see on TV every day. We got a guy on TV every day that's trying to get around the law every freaking minute as he can.
You know what? I've seen 14 presidents in my 77 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Every one of them, other than Jimmy Carter, who was the worst president of my life.
You didn't say any names. I say
everybody. Okay, we're not using the names of politicians.
Oh, now it's all new. It's all new. Suddenly we have somebody.
Names, but there is
every one of
certain
them.
people.
Johnson cheated
more than
on his
anybody
election.
Else. I'm not saying one person.
Still using names of presidents. We don't use names of presidents.
There is certain people that do it more than anybody else, and these are the type of people we got to get off. There's more than one.
Okay.
There's more than one that does it. That's all I'm saying.
How about this, guys?
Hold on a sec. I'd like to ask something as moderator. Okay. So first thing is, we'll keep the names out of this, but I'd like to know from the peanut gallery, could they see that some positives come out of this? Because again, we're already there. And I think in the show, we mentioned some things that could happen over time. Tiberius said that maybe that will force kids to get together. Actually, Dr. Lee is already running, a group thing, which is, probably really strange for these girls, right? To actually sit and talk in the same room. Where do you see this being positive? Because we're in the middle of the ban right now.
Maybe a potential to stop children from getting hurt, from online predators.
Okay. That could help. Ted, you got anything positive to say?
Yeah, I think it's going to create a cottage industry of people developing VPNs to sell real cheap on the internet and make a couple $100,000 in the first 2 years.
Well, what about Tiberius talking about the fact of actually activities will be, scheduled, and actually parents will look out for those things. They'll start thinking that they can.
Why did it need a law? Why did they need a law from the state to do that? Why can't they do that on their own? Why couldn't they do that saying, you're spending too much time in front of a screen. Let's get out and get outside and play. Another thing wrong with society is the fact that when kids do go play, though, they feel they have to have a uniform on. They have to have a parent standing around telling them what the rules are and how to play. No one just goes out and plays by themselves anymore. So that's another thing.
Yeah. Nobody does that.
Nobody does that. We used to go play 5-on-5
I'd like to see some sort of
3-on-3 basketball all the
system
time.
by which you could post a video of you and your friends playing in the street for a half hour, and you somehow are rewarded for that. That's
that's
serious.
actually not a bad idea.
Good idea, Steve.
Okay, hold on to the peanut gallery a second. Dr. Lee, go. You want to throw any other quick comments because we kind of cut you off for a second. What do you think about what they're saying in the peanut gallery?
You need to find something else these children can do. You just can't cut it off and that's it. You got to have something else, some kind of organization, something else that they want to do. I ask Tiberius all the time, what would you like to do? Other than now he is so intelligent. And I talk to him all the time, but he talks to me. We talk about things. And if things are bothering him, I encourage him to talk to his parents who they listen to him. Most of the parents don't listen.
Okay.
They don't listen. They just want you. Let me say one thing. For Christmas, I had 13 of my great-grandchildren here. All of them had little tablets.
Yeah.
Yes, they had little tablets, and the mother's like, we're going over here and talk and play games. Y'all sit over there and watch your tablets. I'm like, can't we play something they can play?
Yeah. I love it. Well, you gotta be able to involve the kids. Kaveh, any other thoughts? And then we'll get back to the peanut gallery.
Yeah, someone mentioned it, but I think we got to realize that every law and regulation is really for the bottom 20% of the population. If you have one drink at a bar and then you drive an hour later, you're probably okay. But that's not what the bottom 20% is doing. And so we have to have a regulation to stop all drinking and driving. The same probably is true for here. I think everyone on this call, including Tiberius, probably doesn't have a real problem with social media.
Well, he's on social media now. We're on this phone.
They need to cut it.
Everybody look at Tiberius now.
You're not helping the cause.
You got the phone.
Tiberius has a show on social media.
He's showing the number one problem.
Speaking on both sides of your mouth.
And then compare it to what our TikTok is like.
Right.
And it's very, very different. And there's probably a reason for that. Maybe you can try and regulate the companies. I don't know if that's really going to work. This is just.
I would just say this: the social media side needs to, like, right now we just heard that they're going to stop the fact checking with Facebook. This is ridiculous. I think they need to up it more a little bit.
You need to
stop showing stuff when there's a tragedy going in Los Angeles. Someone making lewd and comments and everything, getting on Facebook and getting them on social media when someone's dying and homes are burning, and you got someone making stupid comments on it, and they blast it across the screen.
Well, in the extreme, take a look at what happened when the United Healthcare CEO was assassinated.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a social media phenomenon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, apparently P. Diddy's really upset the fact that this guy's getting more notoriety in jail than he is, and P. Diddy's upset about that. I mean, it's...
No names, Bob.
Yes, no names.
No, but they're not politicians. Listen.
Yes, he is.
Nobody said anything about celebrities.
Okay.
I just want to know if anybody else has submitted a health claim where all of a sudden the insurance company is calling them, worried about their concerns and all of that. Out of the blue, I've gotten calls now that I have never gotten in any time. Saying, "Oh, how can we help you further?" Blah, 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 blah. I'm wondering if the word came down, I don't want to die, from the CEOs or something. Who knows?
Got it.
Well, I'm going to say a couple things that we didn't miss, things that we missed about this, and I think it's very important. None of these laws, not one of them, described what social media was. They didn't claim the sites. They said Facebook and YouTube, and that was it. They didn't explain which and how you define social media. That's number one. Number two, I think one of the solutions would be is most kids are going to lie. They're going to say they're 18. I said Tiberius was 18 when he was 1 day old, and I made his Facebook page. He is now 13, but guess what? He's been on Facebook for 13 years when I controlled it, saying that he was 18 so I could get past it. Now I've adjusted, he's now 13 on there. But the fact is we will lie in order to be able to get the account. Kids can still lie. The only way, in my opinion, to really solve the problem was to use a state verification, which is your state ID. You can get it 4 years old, and every social media account attached to a state ID. And if you do that, and it's under the age of 18, it then gets attached to a parent ID. And that way you don't have kids saying they're 18 to get away with it anyway, because $50,000 per incident, it'll never be enforced.
Okay, well, next thing will be you have to join the Hitler Youth or the Young Communist
Whoa.
League. You know,
We're a
and
little
be
far
regulated
with
that
this,
way.
Dave, but you.
I mean, you're getting to the point of being ridiculous.
Where did this come from? I want to know. Why did Hitler show up in all of this?
I didn't know Hitler was on social media.
I'm talking about
Dead.
over control and overreach by the government.
This is not the government doing it, though. I'm saying that the social media companies should be doing it. They required me to show my state ID for me to be on social media because my name's Joe Boy. And when you got a name like Joe Boy, they go, that can't be true. That's a lie. And so they wouldn't let me do it until I proved it. So they already have a system in place to prove that I am who I am. So if they're already using it for people like me, why can't they use it for kids?
Joe Boy. So Joe Boy is maybe a name kicks up and go, that can't be a real name, but it is. Okay. What about Ted Johnson? There's thousands of Ted Johnsons.
Yeah, Bill Russell.
And Bill Russell. So how many Bill Russells? And so now you're talking about millions of people.
I enjoyed watching him play basketball.
Joe Boy,
who's going
to process all that, Joe Boy? Who's going to
Facebook already has a system to process
algorithm.
Oh, really?
The
They handle
algorithm.
millions and millions and millions?
And what about Van Dykes? You know,
Really? Who's gonna verify that? Sure.
Bill, you were
doesn't want
a
to do
tremendous center for the Celtics. I enjoyed that.
How many of you all remember chat rooms?
I worked with
I remember chat rooms.
Yeah,
So I believe chat rooms were the first social media. Look at us. We were on social media. We're okay. I think we're overreaching. These kids have more access than they ever do. It's just about giving them the right type of access. It's not about taking away or limiting or.
I'm not saying limit. I'm saying parent oversight.
Okay,
You're saying what now?
All right, guys. See you, Kave. All right.
I gotta go.
Well, we could probably go on forever, and then we'll get into talking about NBA basketball, a little bit about other stuff. But, it's funny. Here's the law is actually already in. That's the amazing thing. What is going to happen now that it's already in? We didn't even talk about that. So this is, I'm sure we'll be revisiting this social media ban that's out there, guys. And as Ted would be happy to note, it was Florida that did it, not California. So I'm giving you
California wouldn't come close. But Bob, you never said at the beginning of the show what the real problem is. What's the real problem? What's the real problem?
But the real problem is the ban is there. What is going to now happen? It's not for me to say the problem. The problem
you said in the show. You said
the ban.
If we ever get to the real problem, and I want to know what the real problem was. You never said it.
Good that we're dealing with a ban, Ted. We got a ban.
The real problem is control.
Yeah,
that's the real problem.
What to do?
Well, then Dr. Shirley Lee was right. It's what is the government have to step in?
Yeah,
Where are the parents?
I agree. Hey, I'm not for big government either, Ted. I'm just saying the ban is there. What's going to happen, and what does everybody think about it? That was all. We can't solve all our world problems on one 30-minute show as much as we like. But we do have some great people on this show that actually they should listen to some of the people on this show when they make laws. All right, guys. All right, that's the end of the after show for Third Side Convo for the social media for the kids.
Boys.
We'll
Bye,
talk to
y'all. See you
Ted.
later.
We'll see you soon, and I've got your box, by the way. It's already in my car. See you, kids.